All right. Thank you for joining this video. Quick intro. My name is Brandon Walton. I am a certified Pardot or account engagement consultant, as well as sales cloud consultant. I've been doing this for a little bit over a decade.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jermaine Brewer. I am a Salesforce and Pardot consultant. I'm based out of San Antonio, Texas. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem about 4 years now and been a Pardot consultant for a little over 3 years now.
Very cool. And the exciting thing, Jermaine, is you are a marketing champion. So you are officially in the club. You
Yes.
should be having the t-shirt or the jacket coming to your mail very soon. And that is the purpose of the video here today. So Jermaine and I decided to volunteer some time out of our busy schedules to share some of the best practices for campaign management for folks who are using account engagement, formerly known as Pardot. All right, so what we're going to be doing here today, just a quick overview, is we're going to do a brief campaign history of how Pardot or account engagement used to work with its own campaign structure, how it exists today in the current environment. Things might change. We're going to show a little bit about the campaign configuration, connected campaigns, talk about the engagement history feature inside of account engagement configuration, and then just go through what we've seen as a best practice when we roll these out. Jermaine and I work together on a lot of projects. We see a lot of the similar things, and so we wanted to pop on this video and share what those things are and share what works for us. And if there are videos or content you would like to see Jermaine and myself produce, let us know in the comment section, and we are happy to review, and likely we'll put together a video for you as well. So Jermaine, should we jump into it?
Let's do it.
All right, Jermaine. So when we talk about the history of Pardot and how campaigns work, where would we start? Where should we start?
So first thing I would start was making sure you have connected campaigns enabled first, because a lot of this, what we're going to show you today, if connected campaigns is not enabled, you can't make any of this happen. So we're going to go into the account engagement settings tab in the connector.
Yep. So the idea is if you have everything set up here, you'd have the Lightning app. This is the newer way to access account engagement. We are going to go, sorry, Jermaine, we're going to go where now? I'll let you guide us through here.
Account engagement settings. Then on the left, you're going to go to connectors. And then you're going to edit your Salesforce.com connector. So you click on the gear icon, select edit settings, and then you're going to click on the campaigns tab once it loads here. Here we go. And here's the checkbox. Now, if you have a brand new org that you just purchased Pardot within probably, I think, the last year, maybe enabled, this should already be enabled for you. You might have to check a couple more boxes that might not be checked, like use Salesforce to manage all campaigns. And normally you would go ahead and do that after you've mapped all your Pardot campaigns to a corresponding Salesforce campaign. So that's a key piece here. If you don't have connected campaigns enabled, do not check that box to use Salesforce to manage all campaigns until you have did that one-to-one mapping. Once you've done the one-to-one mapping, you can go ahead and select use Salesforce, and now all your campaign management will be done on the Salesforce side. Also, you want to pay attention to the record types down there. If you're using different campaign record types, which we'll go through here in a little bit, you want to make sure all the campaigns that you want to sync from the Salesforce side to Pardot, make sure that record type is checked here.
What is an example of why they would want to create different record types for their campaigns, Jermaine?
Good question. So there's a couple different reasons, right? Let's say you have different teams that are creating campaigns and you want to keep it separate because maybe you don't have business units, or maybe you don't have the addition of Pardot that'll allow you to have different Pardot instances like business units. So you might want to keep it separate there. Or let's just say you have people on the Salesforce side and on the sales team that are using Salesforce campaigns, where you probably want to keep your marketing campaigns separate. And so record types would definitely help with that, to keep sales separate from marketing.
Gotcha. So the idea here is if you have multiple business units, which means that your organization, your company has went out and bought several Pardot accounts, using different record types gives you more control over which campaigns sync with a different business unit. Or there might be other applications or tools that you're using on the Salesforce side, and we could use record types to have more control over which campaigns are syncing with the account engagement org. Is that correct?
That is correct, because you might not want all your campaigns to sync. And so how it's set up here, this is just our training environment. So it's going to be just dummy data. This is not a live environment. But basically, if you just have one master record type and we check this box, all of your campaigns are going to sync to Pardot, and you might not want that.
Awesome. One other thing to call out on this page here as well, one of the things that I think is very useful when we talk about campaign management with account engagement is this right here: enable campaign member sync. When this is enabled, we are syncing prospects to Salesforce when they're associated with connected campaigns. This gives us the ability to use the add to CRM campaign feature inside of account engagement to share information back and forth. I think it ends up being very useful in quite a few different scenarios.
Yep. And one thing to piggyback on that too is adding campaign members is a retroactive. So sometimes you might have prospects that come into Pardot that might not sync right away to Salesforce, but you might have some kind of automation to add them to a campaign. And I know a lot of customers get tripped up on this initially. They'll have like a completion action or an automation rule to add a prospect to a campaign, like after they fill out a Pardot form, for example. Well, just keep in mind, if you have that automation and that person is not in Salesforce, they're not going to get added as a member to that Salesforce campaign once connected campaigns is enabled. However, let's say 3 days later, you push them over to Salesforce. Well, I have seen it where it is retroactive and they will be a campaign member once they get added to Salesforce. So that automation will kick in.
Awesome. Great call out. So we've spoken a little bit about the campaign configuration on the account engagement side, going to connectors, reviewing this campaign tab within the Salesforce connector, the options we have here, best practices for using campaign record types. Let's go through as an admin and how we would set up the engagement history piece and talk a little bit about what that includes. So from the admin gear tab here, if you don't see this gearbox, you're not an admin in your organization. This requires being a Salesforce admin. But if you do have Salesforce admin access, or you are a Salesforce admin setting this up for a marketing user, if you have account engagement, you should have the option to have marketing setup in addition to setup. What marketing setup is going to do is only show the marketing cloud specific products that you have. So it makes it a little easier to search for things. From this view here, we have very quickly our marketing automation configuration here. So we can click into business unit setup and we're able to see how we manage our business units here. So if we had multiple business units, we'd be able to see those. Oh, I'm spacing out, Jermaine. How come I'm not seeing?
Doesn't look like you have the tab. Go into
the
regular setup. And then go on the account engagement section and it should be there.
So we'll edit this part.
There we go.
All right. So actually what we're going to do from here, we're going to go to the regular setup as an admin. We're going to type in account engagement. And you see we have quite a few options here. And one of these options is this engagement history setup. So by clicking on the engagement history setup, this allows us to measure engagement performance on campaigns and marketing assets directly inside of Salesforce. So there's going to be some components that we add. The most important thing that you want to do, I think, in this menu here directly is enable the engagement history dashboards. It'll take some time for it to turn on if you haven't had it enabled, but if you are using account engagement, we'll strongly recommend that you go here to step 3 in the engagement history configuration and turn this on. Now, the reason why we want to use Salesforce campaigns is we have additional features that we can use. Add list emails, landing pages, marketing forms, and marketing links to all of our campaign page layouts. So we're going to jump into our page layout setup right now. And if you are new to account engagement and you haven't set it up yet, what you'll see is on your campaign record, we have all of these additional Pardot fields. Now, some of the ones that are additional Pardot or account engagement fields are these here: total emails delivered in the campaign, total emails delivered in the hierarchy. We'll talk a little bit more about what those are. So to add those to our page, we're going to set that up in the page layout here. Now in newer environments, they are moving this all the way to Lightning, so there might be some changes here in the near future. But for now, we're going to drag a section down. I like to name the section Account Engagement History. I'm going to use the 2-column here. That'll make more sense in a minute. And I'm just going to grab all of these account engagement fields and drop them into the section. So you see we have total emails delivered in campaign and hierarchy. You can set this up however you'd like, but I like to have a column for the campaign, and a column for the hierarchy. So you can see we have total emails delivered in campaign and hierarchy, total form submissions, total form views, total landing page submissions, landing page views, and there might be a different way you would want these to appear here. That's totally up to you, but for this demonstration, we're just going to add those here. So what's key is we've added a section, account engagement history, and we've added our account engagement fields here below.
And also what I would recommend, if you are not using the hierarchy, just get rid of the fields. I wouldn't have them on the page layout. I would just add the ones in campaign.
Gotcha. Good to know.
Just makes it cleaner, better for user adoption.
All right. And so on our account engagement app, again, we've got this tab here for campaigns. That's what we're going to click into. And if we take a look at one of the campaigns here on the details, it might take a little bit since we just added this.
And you saved it, right?
Yep.
There it goes. Yeah.
So once we save it and it loads, you can see we have our campaign information up top here. And then we have the account engagement fields that we've just added. So we can see the total emails delivered in the campaign and in the hierarchy. And you can already see how we have this configured, that we're already seeing some landing page views in the hierarchy. Now this is a test account, so we're not going to have the ability to send emails. And if I was to spend more time on this, I'd probably drag the email section in an email section, landing form with landing form, form with forms organized a little bit better. But you get a general idea of the information that it's capturing for us already. Now this leads us to a very important thing, and Jermaine, what I want to talk about is the best way to set up your campaign hierarchy when you're working with account engagement. Now, for me, one of the things that I really like, I always use hierarchy because I think that for a lot of account engagement users, they are going to be using multiple campaigns inside of account engagement. And what that parent hierarchy allows you to do is organize those campaigns by hierarchy. What I like to do is I like to have everything rolling into a single account engagement campaign. So in this one, you see, we've got all of our campaigns here. They all roll into this account engagement campaign. So every campaign has this campaign as a parent. And what that allows us to do, if we go down to the details section, is use this hierarchy view to give us some general reporting on all the activity that's taking place across your entire account engagement, formerly known as Pardot.org. Jermaine, is there anything that you do or any different ways that you set up your campaigns or anything that you would add to this campaign structure, or maybe ways that you've set up campaigns that worked really well for you in the past?
No, that's usually how it's done. And just know you can go, 3 levels deep, 4 levels deep. So you can have a grandparent, a parent, and a child if you want. Usually I probably wouldn't recommend going more than 3 levels deep unless the use case just required. But as Brandon's showing here, once you have your parent campaign, one important thing I like to point out that a lot of people miss or don't understand, and what's best practice, is adding your campaign members to the child campaigns. That way we can get these numbers to roll up to the parent campaign. And when we see those in hierarchy fields, it's taking all the numbers from the child campaigns and rolling them up into the parent campaign. So some examples here would be what I see a lot as I do, brand new implementations or just helping customers out with campaign management period is like social media, right? So you would have a 2023 social media campaign. That would be your parent campaign. And then the child campaigns would be like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? So now if you want to see how your Facebook campaign is doing, you would just go down to the child level. And then if you wanted to see how the overall social media campaign, then you would go to that parent campaign. And now it's going to roll up all those numbers from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Or in another example, a popular one is website, right? You might have a lot of different things going on your website. Maybe you have Pardot forms on your website. Maybe you have, request a demo, or you have different CTAs, different call to actions, or just anything that you are marketing, using different marketing activities for. Website would be a good one to have as an umbrella and have child campaigns listed underneath.
Yeah, so right here,
Naming conventions is also big. So if you notice, Brandon is putting 2023, and you notice I put the date in there also, or the year. Usually that's best practice. Having a good naming convention in place is definitely key to this. And so as Brandon is filling this out, I'll go over some important fields that you want to make sure you're filling out. A description definitely is a good one. If you scroll back to the top, you want to make sure that, let's go back in there real quick. Oh, we can see it from here. So that checkbox for active, that's definitely key also. I see a lot of people create campaigns and then they'll go on the Pardot side and they'll try to, add someone or have some kind of automations, and they don't see the campaign. And usually that's that's why. It's because they didn't make it active.
awesome. So now we will be able to see here, social media campaign has account engagement as a parent, and then within the social media campaign, it also has a child for our LinkedIn. And if we go to the main account engagement campaign, the other thing that I think is really great, so one of the things that we enabled is that engagement history dashboard. To show what that engagement history dashboard is, that's this thing built on analytics that you see here. Now, again, this is a demo account, so there's not a lot going on here quite yet, particularly directly in this campaign. But this gives you a nice view when working of all of the activity and who's engaging with the activity. One of the other components down here is this engagement component. Now, you see right here, because we're in the account engagement campaign, and we actually aren't creating anything directly in this campaign. Everything exists within a child of this campaign. So when we look at this campaign directly, and let's say this is capturing all of the data for our entire account engagement org, nothing exists here by itself, but we can just toggle to include all child campaigns. And if you've done this correctly, it's going to roll up all of your email sends and for your entire account engagement account, all of your emails delivered, marketing form views, landing page views, all of that high level information can be rolled into a single campaign. And I think for a lot of marketers using account engagement, that becomes really valuable in a very quick way to see how active their account engagement campaign is.
And Brandon, go ahead and click on that campaign hierarchy icon next to account engagement so they can see the different levels. In the upper, there you go. So here we go. So now go ahead and expand that 2023 social media when you create it. So this is why I was talking about how you can go, 3, 4, 5 levels deep. So in this case, account engagement is the the grandparent, 2023 social media is the parent, and then the LinkedIn one is the actual child.
Yep. And then if while they're building out their campaigns, when they're building out campaigns and associating those with the LinkedIn campaign, whether that's a form or a landing page, it'll exist inside of this campaign, and they can still use the performance of this campaign to roll up into an overall account engagement campaign. It really makes reporting very simple.
Yes. And one key thing to remember is you're associating your assets with the child campaigns. Usually that's how these numbers roll up. So if we were to go create an email template right now or a form, and we added the account engagement campaign to that, then it's not going to roll up those numbers because you didn't add it to the child, you added it to the parent. So when you go look at the in hierarchy fields that we showed you, the data is not going to be correct. So that's an important takeaway. Associating your campaigns to the right assets and adding your campaign members to the child campaigns and not the parent campaigns. So you can get those roll-up numbers.
So the idea here is any new leads that came in through this LinkedIn interest form that we were going to put on a LinkedIn ad would be attributed to this 2023 LinkedIn campaign. We could sync them as a campaign member with a certain status to this campaign, and then use campaign hierarchy to still roll in account engagement. So at this top level, the LinkedIn campaigns would be tracked in the hierarchy, and you'd also be able to see if someone came in through this LinkedIn campaign, go over to the LinkedIn campaign and see who's associated specifically with that campaign there. Awesome. Jermaine, let's do a quick recap of what we just covered here.
All right. So we first started with going in the back end and adding our, or turning on the engagement history, or showing you how to turn it on. And then we went to the page layout to add all the custom fields that come with the Pardot managed package. So the total emails delivered in campaign, total emails in hierarchy. And then we also went over the engagement metrics dashboard that include that little toggle switch where you can include your child campaigns. And we also went over the engagement history dashboard, which we really wasn't able to see too much there in the dashboard. Just know you do have to have a particular permission set to see that dashboard. So you might not initially be able to see it. You need the analytics view only user. Once you have that, you can see that dashboard, and you are limited to the permission set licenses you can have for that dashboard. So maybe not everyone in your Salesforce org might not be able to see it because you are limited depending on the addition of Pardot that you have.
One more quick tip I'll share before we get out of here is if you've already been using account engagement for some time and you haven't set up your campaign hierarchy, but you're watching this video and you're thinking, I really want to set up my campaigns like that. One of the things that you can do here is use list views. So from this list view, what we've done is we select the fields to display. We just make sure that the parent campaign field is visible, which it is here. We can select all of the parent campaigns we want to adjust. And let's say we hadn't done this already, we can go in here, just make sure they're added to account engagement, select the 15 that we want to add them to, and hit save. And that's a quick way to take an entire list of campaigns and quickly roll them into a hierarchy, so you don't have to do it manually. We've already done that here, so we don't need to redo those steps. But if you are looking to implement a strategy like this in a very quick way, using list views inside of Salesforce is a very fast way to get it done.
Yeah. And then just one key takeaway from here today also is you need to have connected campaigns enabled. So if you don't already have it enabled, then none of this is really going to work for you.
Yep. I think in general, using Salesforce campaigns opens up much more functionality and capability than what was previously available with account engagement or Pardot at the time. I think it also helps in just getting those high level metrics and insights. From time to time, marketing managers want to be able to see that, especially when that contract renewal time comes around. They want to be able to see how much they're using the tool. So being able to go to that quick view, account engagement, and see all of the emails, all of the opens, all of the landing page views from a single quick view from Salesforce data adds a lot of value and makes it really easy to use.
Yep, because now your Salesforce users that don't have access to Pardot, they can see how their leads or contacts is engaging with your marketing activities, or just see how well their campaigns are performing, right? I get asked that a lot, how can sales see this information if we're not going to give them access to go look at Pardot reports? Well, campaign reporting is a good way to do that. And also, since it's a Salesforce tab, we can go create Salesforce reports. So you can create, a nice dashboard if you want to add it to your homepage, things like that.
Yeah, it definitely is a showcase of the continued integration between Sales Cloud and account engagement. It's been a big initiative since it was Pardot, since it was acquired, almost 10 years ago. So I think that these are great features to take advantage of, whether you've been using this platform for years and years and years, or if this is your first year rolling it out. All right. Thank you for watching. We hope that this video was helpful for you. And if there's additional content that you would like myself and Jermaine to produce, or questions you have, or advice you're looking for, please leave a comment, and we definitely review these comments, and we will come back with either answering that video directly, or you may compel us to create another video like this. Jermaine, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, you please, yes, give us feedback. Let us know there's more to come. So thanks everyone for joining, and see you in the next video.
See you next time.